What is going on, guys? Your boy Guns here, and joining me today is my boy Saint T here. What's going on,
Hey,
Saint?
what's good? What's good, chat?
All right, guys, we're gonna be covering update 1.0.35 Rise of the Dragon. Season 3 is finally here. Saint, it's finally here, bro. After all our complaints and getting a little impatient, it's finally around the corner. All right, so I know Saint has expressed a few words about season 3 not being here, but it's gonna be here on the 20th, guys. It's gonna be here on the 20th. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So the new season, Rise of the Dragon. We're gonna mainly be covering a lot of the main features. So we got a new continent here. Far to the south. I'm not gonna read absolutely everything. There's saying that I know that you kind of skimmed through it a little bit before we started. Have you seen these world tree stars, sanctuary, furnace of immortality? Like, I wonder what all these things are. Like, what is that? Shangmu?
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
maybe there those are wonders.
that's what I'm getting the feeling for. Yeah, yeah, especially how they've highlighted them in gold in the mail. I'm guessing, new map, new wonders. I mean, I kind of like having the wonders. Used to go around, and that was obviously a nice new thing on on the first season, and I think it'll be good to bring it back. It's always nice to have some a bit of design, a bit of color to the world map and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and there's gonna be, let's see, new behemoths. Fight to banish the dark forces corrupted by the mysterious clockwork guardians known as the Gear Sentries. Meanwhile, on top the great tree, Shenmue sits in the embodiment of all evil, the Shadow Dragon. Finally, right? It's like it's supposed to be the dragon that we've been seeing from the beginning of the game. They're,
Oh,
br-
damn.
they're bringing it. They're bringing it to life. They're bringing it to life. Season gameplay. So it's we're starting to get hints, and I know that you read it too. A little bit of the draconian. We're getting a lot of draconian stuff. I know they haven't announced a new civilization with season 3. I was kind of hoping for the new civilization to land with season 3. I'm not gonna lie, but so a few draconian stuff here. So, kind of going into who's going to be able to play into the next season. So, pretty much anyone who's finished season 2 will automatically enter season 3. Players in pre Strife, Season of Strife, can register for Season of Strife 4, equivalent to Story Season 3. That's a little confusing, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so for season 2, March 4th onward, duration of season 2 will be reduced to 40 days. After the season summary, players will have 2 days to leave the season map, in which migration will be open for 1 day, bro. Oh,
Bro.
yikes.
The
Season 3.
recruitment teams are
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
super
Oh,
stressed.
yeah.
Holy damn.
Season 3 sessions beginning March 7 onward would take the place of pre Strife, allowing players to, okay, from season 2 to season 3. How do you feel about the 40 days? Especially if they keep the fast building in the Dragon Zone. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean this is gonna be really interesting. I kind of flick between the two. You want more fighting, but then you also with how RSS, healing heavy the game is, you kind of want to be able to get those downtime periods to farm as well. So I think this will be, this particular one, this will be the first time we have, the fully shortened season and off season. So I think it'll be a good, it'll be interesting, probably a better word to use. Interesting to see how much we can farm, the efficiency of it. Obviously, then you tend to get, you tend to get your zone one for a little bit, and some zone twos can be a little bit, a little bit boring. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good, good testing season. That's that final zone, the speed. I think they do need to nerf everything in there, reduce it, maybe even up to half. You don't want a season where it's just going to be um, the stronger side or the one who has the more active peak potentially. Maybe just a more active peak at that time, winning within like 2 hours, like in our season. So I do like the fact I do like the intensity because it kind of throws that like, okay, right, we need to get this done now sort of vibe. But then also, I think it shows who's got which leadership's got the more. the more experience or even just the better metal to handle the pressure. But I think there does need to be a balance into it, because if one team has really heavy downtime, but then are really heavy on their uptime, if they get caught in their downtime, they could potentially have their season over. You know what it's like when you get trapped behind a bridge or some kind of choke with a bastion on the other side. It's GG. So I think they need to just be careful what they do in the Dragon Zone on shorter seasons.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. And okay, so the next one is it's heavy for the low spend slash free to play players. So Sentinel arrow drops rate increase from level 21 to 50. Darklings will now drop more Sentinel arrows. This is huge, especially for my free to play account. I'm struggling to get my rally beacon up over there because I never do forts, right? I only really have enough time to hit, auto peacekeeping and just let it do its thing. This one over here, speed up item improvements. So new feature, excess time auto refund. So like if you have my boy Future helped me out with this one. He was saying like if you have those 7-day speed ups that you can't really use, you can actually use it now, and now it's gonna return excess speed up time to your inventory. So
That's huge.
That's pretty
a good
cool.
quality of life. That is a good one.
Because I've happened to use like troop, like increased troop training, to be able to use the freaking the 7-day speeds. All right, Titan's Legacy changes, so reduced from 60 days to 50 days. All right, Army Group Reserve Legions. Offline players can add their legions to their alliance reserves, allowing Army Group captains to assign them to. Oh wow!
Oh, okay.
I didn't read
I
this
must have missed this in
one.
the skim. Yes,
That's
okay,
huge.
I like this.
That's crazy, bro. So like, oh yeah, that is actually really dope.
Those Krakens are just gonna like have just 5 marches ready in reserves and just be like, "Yo, if I'm not here, just use it, bro. Just take the wheel."
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Especially because this season, I'm sure you've seen me running around with the Cavs keys. Like,
You've been going with it. Yeah, you've
yeah,
been hitting it hard.
it'd be dope to just grab whoever's Cavs and just go send it. All right, new combat related policies, bringing more strategic depth. This update will take effect 2 seasons. So, server overview upgrade. So, new filter feature. So now, especially if you are just like observing, you can see like server phase hotspots, migration info, all that good stuff. This is a good one too. A lot of quality of life stuff during this update. Brink of War now takes place in the beginning of the new season. What do you think about that? Do you like it? Not like it? What do you think?
No, I do like it because I think the scope just to be able to micro a little bit more. I think it just keeps the game ticking over a little bit as well. I think it'll give you sort of a bit of scope on things that happen live. It may not be a crazy change, but I think that there's going to be some alliances that can definitely benefit from those that do a bit of have the understanding and can sort of see trajectories and whatnot, patterns. I think, but yeah, again, even just for the fluidity, just keeping things seamless. I think it's good.
Alrighty. Season reward improvements. Achievement rewards and season rewards not claimed by the end of the season will be sent to you via in-game mail. That's nice. Some people probably forget. Now the big ones, bro. 3 new heroes, Sainty Poo. 3 new heroes. Let's talk about the first one, Mushang. Overall PvP support. Hopefully it's a flying hero. I doubt it, but hopefully. One can only hope. So, Season 1 Burning Stars. Call of Dragons epic hero Mushang can be obtained through hero recruitment or by taking part of the Birth of Legend event. In subsequent seasons, she can be obtained through hero recruitment. All right. So, what do you think, bro? Overall, every time I see overall PvP support, it excites me because that means that this hero is going to be very key to my toolbox, I guess you can say, because I can essentially put this hero anywhere.
No, I agree. These 3 in particular, they're just huge, right? They just fit in with any march, majority of compositions. almost similar. I know that Tara wasn't quite the same, but you know how useful she had been to add to some people's kit as well. I think we've got like a similar position here, but it's even stronger. The three skill trees are or three talent trees, sorry, a lot better. So yeah, I'm sure that she'll slip in right there. It'll be interesting which one she ends up being most prevalent for. Which one she gives the most boost to. Probably archers. I've got like an early feeling of archers. Especially with what we're going to get into with the other heroes and that. But yeah, I think this will be a good hero, good epic hero, and one for the low spend free to plays definitely to add to their ranks.
Yeah, especially this next part here. Season 3, Rise of the Dragon. Mushen can be upgraded to a legendary hero by purchasing Shenmue fruit. So hopefully it's not that expensive, right? Either way, I'm a sucker for spending in this game, especially if I can upgrade a epic hero up to a legendary. One of the things I would definitely like to do is just see how the hero does at the epic stage and then upgrade it over to the legendary hero. We'll see. Hopefully I have enough discipline to max it out as an epic hero and then eventually upgrade it to a legendary hero to kind of compare. I mean, I don't think it's a secret. I'm sure it's going to do substantially better as a legendary hero, right? Also to see like how much fruit is going to be needed. We've been seeing a lot of fruit coming about, increasing pet attributes and now upgrading epics to a legendary. That'd be sick if we can get down the road a freaking prime Guanwin or a prime Waldir by feeding them fruit to make them a legendary hero. That'd be sick.
I was thinking that myself.
Yeah.
So this was this in Rise of Kingdoms? They introduced primes after, like
Yeah.
prime some primes and that. So that's what I was thinking as well. Moldir in particular, but I mean even Olwen, heroes that atheists. I mean he still can have a place in certain comps, but yeah, just imagine those three, especially Atheist as a rage generator, as a legendary, the kind of damage he'd be kicking out.
That'd be nasty.
That'd be interesting, but yeah, that's another part that I a little bit skipped over because of the next part. So that's gonna be interesting if they maintain that again, the fruit, this fruit system, this extra currency, extra cost in that, but the turning a epic into a legendary. It's gonna be interesting.
I like that that they're bringing that kind of aspect to it. Kind of adds a little bit a sense of progression, so to speak, which I think also helps like with player retention. Upgrading Musheng to legendary hero will greatly increase her skill effects, and it said greatly, bro. So yeah, maybe it's not even worth the testing, bro. Just get her to legendary as fast as possible. And refund all training costs from her period as epic hero. Oh, that's cool. You get everything back that you put into her. So it wouldn't be bad to, like, I don't even know if I have enough epic tokens to freaking get them up there. All right, next one. Fulgrim. Marksman PvP skills. Saint. AoE archers are here, bro. The bane of our existence. No.
We always knew it was coming. It's not guaranteed, but it's very high chance. But whether or not they pull the trigger with an AoE or they're just testing out, the idea of skills. But this is what I mentioned to you before, though, right? Because I was hoping that one of the mage heroes would have precision. I was hoping for the idea, a bit like how you see with Magret Zay when people use them for Celestials, the idea of increasing your normal attack damage. Being able to output damage without the need for the skills directly. So this could be this could be a theme throughout G4. Starting to add some of the third talent tree that we tend to frequently see on other heroes. Maybe they're going to start moving them around. Maybe we'll see that G4 precision mage and some different like a control tank or something, things like that. Maybe we'll see more of these third trees. But this will be interesting. Yeah, if it's the AoE, then mages could be in for a rough season.
Oh, for sure, dude. And there's people that there's definitely people that are like, no way that archers are gonna have AoE, but it's like we already have Craig. He's marksman, he has AoE. You know what I mean? So like I wouldn't say it's impossible, especially now that I see that there's a skills tree. We may have spoken this into existence. That's crazy. Okay, so you can obtain Fulgrim from Lucky Spin and Wheel of Destiny events. Okay, the third one, which I think, usually the rally heroes are the ones that are that are pretty OP, right?
Yeah.
Except for
Generally.
side note, Thunderlin's definitely the one doing more damage. I feel like out of the new mages.
Yeah. I mean, I think for archers, it tends to be the trend of the athlete, doesn't it? Like that seems to be more definitive on their side.
Yeah. Marksman Rally Control. Interesting. Rarity is obviously legendary. Obtained from Will of Destiny's Strongest Lord event. I mean, yeah, dude, honestly, I think out of all of these three heroes, I'm more excited to see where Mu Shang's going to fit. I do think that, traditionally the new heroes kind of just go together. That seems to be a pretty common trend in Call of Dragons. But how do you feel a rally marksman will fit in the current meta?
Yeah, I mean, outside of tanks, I mean, rallies as we've seen, I mean, even people are even on the people swarm rallies. Even Hoskara tends to especially when there's that field presence and how many people have calves. So depending on the alliance, like an alliance like Echo, which is so heavy cav orientated. They tend to eat them alive, don't they? Archer one. So again, it's going to come down to your general field presence. Um, I'm wondering, yeah, with the control, maybe. I'd have to review the control tree, but I'm just wondering if that could maybe lend some survivability. Stealing the rage. So they don't just get swarmed and raged down by cavalry units. The mages had a bit of that. Resistance with the numbness and whatnot. Yeah, Cavs are eating everything these days, so this will be it'll be good. It'll be good to see some testing on this early doors.
Yeah, I mean, as you may know, I ran a few rallies against Bastions this season, and the rally tree in itself has the best for anti swarming capabilities within it over the control tree for sure. But just how you said, I think it's going to be very similar to the new mages, where it's only going to be viable. If you have full control of the field, unless they make it like a Hoskara. But even like you said, even if this new hero has like amazing counterattack damage, which I hope it does, but even well, as a mage main, hopefully not. But for the sake of the marksman mains out there, yeah, I feel like they're still gonna need full control. If not, alliances like Echo that have a crap load of freaking cavalry, they're just gonna eat this thing alive. They're like, oh, cool, welcome G4, welcome to the game. They just swarm the crap out of it.
Well, exactly. I think two Krakens, especially if they're close to the rally, they can just keep farming out them calves and yeah, just absolutely start nuking these rallies. So yeah, I think it'll be great to see as early as possible. I know that there are some really heavy testers who will as soon as that 2-3 day sort of peace period ends, they'll be lining up rallies to test. Tends to end up being sometimes rally on rally because that doesn't take dead. Some people are a little more savage and they'll test on cities and stuff, which obviously incurs the dead. So it'll be I think that'll definitely be one that people should need to be keeping their eye on how this performs.
Yeah, and then I think maybe this artifact's gonna play a role into it, right? So when I see legendary artifact Iron Tusk, clearly more like a Wilderberg type artifact, right? But when I see Iron Tusk, I think something sturdy and strong, right? So maybe this artifact is going to give the marksman rally ability more survivability and dish out more counterattack damage, because there is marches in Rise of Kingdoms that are just, everyone's just like, do not swarm that. I wonder if Call of Dragons eventually is going to bring something similar. However, it's more common amongst the infantry, but maybe this new artifact gives it what it needs, right? Marksman PvP assault. um what do you know if there's any current marksman PvP assault? Artifacts? Isn't that what the
That's the crossbow,
yeah,
gilded crossbow.
yeah, it might be the crossbow. Let me check it. Let me take a quick look.
Marksman
Uh,
PvP assault.
yeah, gilded crossbow, and then gold crest marksman PvP control. Oh, interesting.
So is the Ral spear as well. So probably one that they're going to try and do universal. You know, the universal. Just thinking if it would have any defense boost, but I don't know if that's if they put that in like a support. I'm just trying to think of the what's most likely to give it away. Because I was wondering if it might have more defense to make it a little bit bulkier, but with it
I mean,
having a
it's an
sword, so it's
iron
either
tusk.
attack.
I hope so.
Well, that's what I mean. The name, yeah, the name kind of gives it that, right? But I'm wondering if it's still going to be an attack-based one, and then it'll have, like a passive or a secondary, like more and more artifacts happen. So I'm wondering if he'll do all that attack and Iron Tusk. Maybe the Iron Tusk does, does defense, defense penetration or some kind of HP bypass. You know how playing on the name, and then gives a secondary defensive capability. Um, yeah, I only think that these G4 archers, I thought with Magzay, we'd be like, well, you've got Magzay, Awaken, Shadow Manticore, Gilded Crossbow. Do you really need to worry about G4? But I think these G4 archers are going to be a problem. I think they're going to be a problem.
I think just based off one of them having the skills tree and the other one having the control tree and none of them having the precision tree, I feel like Max A is still gonna hold the reign, bro, for freaking just being the merit gods. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. All right, so 3 amazing new events. We got Dragons and Destiny sign-in event. So as long as you sign in every day, you gain some amazing rewards. You also have a chance to obtain mysterious hero Mu Sheng, who will accompany you in adventures through. I don't know how you say that. Shan Chao.
One shell, something like that.
Yeah, Cosmic Interchange Exchange Event. Players who reach city level 16 will be able to exchange building speed up items for training speed up items in this event.
Finally,
Finally, bro. Two
you see
years
those.
later.
If you see those speed-ups for cheap, buy them. You need to start. Everyone needs to start stocking up on the. If you get them cheap in the Goblin Market, start buying those speed-ups.
You know what? I'm sure there's going to be some kind of limit. Hopefully the limit is high because a lot of us have a bunch of building speed ups, man, just sitting there.
Yeah, either a limit or it'll be a high trading cost.
Yeah.
So that it drains quickly. But I mean, it's a
Either
tricky
way,
one, right?
at least it's here now.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that. We've been waiting for that.
Yeah. All right, so season 3 is gonna have a quiz event where you can put your knowledge to the test, answer the questions. So similar to the quizzes that we have, right? Hopefully there's some fruit in that to upgrade
Yeah,
Mushe.
they need that fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, so Roots of War upgrade. So personal points increase. So this is just for personal points. When I first read this, I was thinking like, oh dang, you're gonna get more points now for occupying buildings, but this is mainly just personal points only. So previously, players can only gain personal points if they had Garrison Legion in an occupied building. Now all Alliance members in the battlefield will continuously gain personal points from occupied buildings. Okay, so it's definitely gonna boost the personal points. So we're probably gonna see people cross the 200 K marker this time around with this because that's a big point increase, bro.
It is, but also hopefully it encourages people to get in the buildings, right? I mean, most people who are leading, they'll start talk about cycling, but I think some people are either a bit shy or maybe don't quite think as often. But the more top clans as well, with more clans that sort of use stats and data, for picking their teams, hopefully this will encourage people because there's nothing worse than surviving a rally, and then as your garrison, then people not hopping back in and refilling it and whatnot. It's just those min max things.
Yeah, I mean I mean, just a quick touch on that. I feel like when it comes to people actually hopping into buildings, it goes to show like a more team-based decision, right? Because everyone wants to be that top point earner, but there's definitely roles within Roots of War that you're not going to be the top point earner. You're going to be the guy swarming rallies, swarming freaking buildings, you're getting wrecked, you know what I mean? But Yeah, hopefully we'll see. They have some new chat channels within Roots of War, right? Team chat, public chat.
Oh,
Uh,
that's gonna be a mistake. The
so
public
you,
chat,
you
the
already know
public
people are
chat.
gonna be talking crap in there.
Yeah, that's gonna get messy. That's gonna get
You
messy.
can
The team one's
now.
good though.
Oh, interesting. You can now form teams more quickly and coordinate more effectively. That's pretty cool. Combat system improvements. So Beastmaster command improvements has a new select all feature. Beastmasters can now select the behemoth and friendly legions together, allowing them to issue commands more effectively. Oh wow.
That's good.
Shout out to the Beastmasters that don't want a Beastmaster because they're gonna not get as many merits. Although they have this feature, I still think that the best way it's gonna be for Beastmasters to just control the behemoth themselves. Can you imagine, like, you're trying to keep the behemoth alive, you run across, you know, to like the southern boundary, and then your other marches are trying to follow it along. Like, just sounds like a mess. Maybe inf mains.
Infantry could be a
Yeah.
good shout there. Yeah, those dudes who have lots of tanks to burn. Because you're right. I mean, the good Beastmasters will keep it alive. They'll sort of move, to the highest or the most populous area of troops, survivability. Yeah, definitely need to start, pulling those troops around so they're not as, in their own formation and try and play them into your hand a bit more. So, yeah, it's probably more niche. But the tank shell's good though. I think the tank shell's good.
Yeah. So other improvements, ancestor statue portal. We didn't have this problem in TFS, but over in Pay to Win, I can't remember. I think it was Echo. Yeah, Echo. And some other, they just camped our portal, bro. So as soon as we were going in, they were just killing us. So now they added an improvement. Shout out Echo. Safe zones will now appear around the portals and the ancestor statue. So when you're in the safe zone, you cannot be attacked, right? So you'll be able to actually get in there and then push out. So that's a nice quality of life there. So, High King skills permissions improvements. Marshals can cast the following combat skills. So now marshals can also exile intense gathering, intensive construction, reduced treatment costs, more mobilization, intensive research. So it's going to give the marshal, a little bit extra things that they can do. Ceasefire rules adjustments. So added restrictions. Aligned siege bastions cannot attack any buildings while in that ceasefire range. New PC client option. Play sounds when minimized. Interesting. Oh, okay. So you'll be able to hear if like someone's attacking you. Say you're doing some work or whatever. Not that anybody watching this video works and plays Call of Dragons, right? But let's just say you had to close your app out or minimize your app because you're doing something else. You'll at least be able to hear if you're getting attacked now. So that's pretty cool. The unit death rules description improvement. So, for those of you guys that don't know, when you click on the hospital over here, hit the little info button right up top. No, where is it at? Right over here. Where is it at? Right here. This one right here. So, it's going to give you more in depth of how exactly you get deaths. So that's pretty cool. Helps people kind of understand that a little bit. All right, let's see. We're getting close to the end here. Banishment. All right, that's it, bro. That's it. What do you think overall about the season 3 patch notes?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm excited. I think, as you say, it's been a long time coming. I'm hoping for a nice, rich story to come with it. I don't mind doing some of the stories. It just adds just a bit more to go with it. Just kind of gives you just a bit more enjoyability and a bit more variety in the game. I like some of the quality of life improvements. Also, some of the things that as simple as the arrows. Yeah, okay, they don't refer to us anymore, but for the lower spends, I think I'd like to see more of that in the future. You want the treaties as well. I've mentioned before, other ways to get gold heads, stars, potentially artifacts. Obviously there's nothing too crazy because I appreciate that people, you and I included, have spent a lot of money to get certain heroes artifacts at reduced time. Kind of get them up front, but it would be good to see more of those. Just more of those quality of life and player friendly improvements. Just to give people that almost reward themselves. They get some more just more tools and more experience in the game to use.
For sure, man. And I think for me, first of all, I want to say that I wish the new civilization was here with season 3. I think that would have gave it even more excitement. However, if the new civilization is not ready, I think I'd rather it not get released than get released and it not be, optimal or bring everything that it's going to bring. So hopefully, within season 3, we get the new civilization, and they're already kind of hinting at Draconian, right? However, we kind of been hinted at Dwarven faction because they switched the Darklings to freaking the Dwarven. Are we killing Dwarvens now? In our current KVK, what are we killing now? Just actual Darklings, right?
Yeah.
I forgot what season they got rid of the dwarves.
Was it in the ice seasons that we tend to have dwarves? Was it the ice seasons?
Yeah, I think it was. So, I mean, we've been teased with both Dwarven and now Draconian, so hopefully we do see the new civilization come. Another side note I want to say, I'm excited. We've never had 3 heroes drop on us, so that's going to, give me a lot of content to come forward. And I will say, based off what I'm seeing, being mage main, I'm more than likely gonna work on Mu Shang first to see how she's gonna fit within the mage lineup, because I feel like that's gonna be huge for mages and how it's gonna work. And it is a support. Maybe it goes with Tara. Maybe it's gonna be like the ultimate support march. That's my guess. Considering it has support and overall. More than likely it's going to be like a crazy buffer or debuffer for the field, So yeah, overall I'm really excited, bro. I'm really excited. I'm sure Archer mains are really excited. We've seen some leaks from the Shanghai meeting that long range warfare is going to come back. So long range warfare coming back, 2 new archers coming, potential AoE archers. Like, oh brother, it's going to be crazy. Any last comments from you, Saint, on season 3 stuff?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. I must admit, I hadn't heard anything about long range warfare. I know that it kind of goes season to season, right? We kind of wonder, is it season on, season off, 2 seasons on, season off, or 2 seasons on, 2 seasons off? They kind of make they leave it late in that. I'm just wondering now with that, because if we have long range warfare back, yes, okay, in the field, I'm sure that archers again, they'll be enjoying themselves because even with the reduction. Of course, those who've got, for example, the skin, greatest height skin, mitigates 10% of that reduction. So that'll help those archer mains. But also the rallies would then be weaker, right? We had this before, when people do behemoths and stuff, whether or not the devs will ever decide to split it. So in field, will it be one of those where in the field long range warfare is active? Does that, and then would they potentially have, like in Roots of War, behemoths and rallies, would it then become inactive? So it'd be interesting to see which way they go on that for archers, because as I say, long range warfare in rallies would then be a big nerf on the damage. But if it doesn't active, then yeah, if it's not active, if the two kind of separate in their fields, fields versus behemoths, rallies, Roots of War, etc., I think archers might be in for arguably their favorite season.
True. Very
Honestly,
true.
I think they are. I think it's going to be rough for us mages. All them whales are going to go crazy. People who have saved as well. Even just the savers, right? People underestimate those who save just the heads. Save lots of heads. Maybe they got Sindri and Freygar. Maybe they skipped Margaret Zeta, which is kind of crazy. But maybe some people have skipped. So there could be a lot of people just ready to, even the people that you might not expect. Next thing you know, you're just one of your lower spend players just rocks up and they've got like 300-400 keys saved. They're ready to go crazy on the Artified. They got 6-star new heroes. Yeah, I think it's gonna be an archer heaven this season. Those mages have got to definitely got to be respecting our tank players more and hoping they can keep that front line.
That's for sure. Well, that's gonna be it for the coverage, guys. Yeah, we had a mage season. Now I gotta mentally prepare for this Archer season coming in. I'm not an Archer main by any means, but I'm flexible with my account. I'm flexible. We can run a little bit of everything. But if you guys enjoyed the coverage, guys, or you guys have any extra comments that you guys want to talk about for season 3, make sure you guys drop it in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the coverage that me and Saint gave for you guys today, make sure you guys drop a like on the video. Also, a lot of season 3 hype coming up, and season 3 type content coming up, that a lot of theory crafting and whatnot, especially with all the G1 servers skipping and coming to G2. That's going to be exciting. So also make sure you guys hit that sub button, guys. Turn on the bell notification, lets you guys know when I go live or drop a new video. Until next time, guys, your boy Guns, and assisting me here today, my boy Saint, another fellow mage main. We are out, guys. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.
See ya.